quorum of trustees. Trustee O'Connor is out of town, so he is excused, and I will open the public hearing with the presentation of the 2026 Port Edwards budget.
I'm here tonight to present you guys a 2026 budget. Just a couple points that I'll make on the budget from this year in your packet for the board members if you'd like to follow along. I did include on the back last page just kind of a summary of where everything is this year. Allowable levy set by the state was an increase of 8,606 from last year. Final equalized assessed value. You know, this is done by the assessor in the state. This is nothing the village has anything to do with. Was a decrease of 209 100 from last year. The local tax rate that we're presenting you this year with the budget is 8.34. It's an increase from last year at 8.16, so 2.21%. If we look back 3 years ago, we were in the 14s. So we definitely see, we're in the ballpark. Obviously, the state allows us to levy and we need to spend up to the levy. If you don't, then the next year you're going to be behind that much. Total budget expenses for this year, the numbers are written down. Obviously, that's an increase due to the increase of the allowable levy. This year's budget obviously reflects no loans. So, when we talk about increase the taxes the way nowadays, you can put loans against the levy after it's done with the village. Didn't do any of that this year. The village is putting money in 400 accounts, which putting money in 400 accounts allows us to buy police car, village, public works vehicles, do street projects without, again, borrowing against the levy that which could essentially raise your taxes. So I think we're being very proactive for the future and not trying to have a village with a bunch of loans and still keeping being smart about spending money when it comes to vehicles, if it's police department, if it's public works, getting the most out of our vehicles, but also we don't have the full-time crew to be working on them. And obviously when vehicles are down, since we don't have so many, we have to replace them or borrow or lease or figure how we get the work done without having, if it's cop cars, if it's public works vehicles. The 2026 budget reflects a 3% increase in wages for all of our employees, plus a benefit package for all full-time employees. At the end of the day, the local tax rate is 22.10 per thousand. That is no increase from last year. So when it all comes together with the schools, the county, mid-state, and everything comes together, it's 22.10 per thousand. No increase from last year. So I think that's from the village. That's kudos to be able to keep doing the services that we're giving the residents this year. Again, with no increase other than what's allowable levy. And as we all know, on a day-to-day basis, even if it's at home, I mean, things are going up in price. If it's just fuel, if it's electrical, if it's gas, things like that. So I think everybody's doing a good job. And I think this budget this year is going to allow us to continue keeping the roads in good shape that we've been working really hard on. It's also keeping our office staff and department heads with IT information. We've got a new website that's happening this year, and also keeping everybody in the proper safe gear is obviously number one. And number one when it comes to everything in the building. If it's fire department, if it's police, if it's public works, making sure they have the equipment to do the jobs and also be safe. So at this time, that would be what I'd have for the 2026 budget. If there's anybody from the public that would like to comment on this, I believe this would be the time that you could comment on what I presented to the budget in the budget hearing.
Yep, so public comment, we're into number 5. Teresa, you said that you wanted to speak, so you have that 3 minutes again, if you would like to speak now.
Okay, thanks. I didn't quite know the rules last time, so I appreciate it. Yeah, and I didn't come today with a prepared speech. First of all, let me just tell all of you thank you. I know it's late at night, you probably all worked hard all day. Thank you for everything you're doing, and thank you for inviting me to the meeting. I wish more of my neighbors showed up. I wish more from the community showed up. But I did want to come and at least, give you my thoughts. And again, I wished I had been coming to these meetings even before the last meeting I came to. So I will try and attend these meetings more going forward. I live over on Campfire Trail and over off Netco. And my biggest concern, and again, I want to say this again, I appreciate everything y'all are doing. I know it's not easy what you guys do. But my biggest concern is the increase in taxes. Excuse me. Got a tickle in my throat. But my taxes have literally, my property taxes have literally doubled, over the last year. And it's extremely concerning. And if this continues to go forward, then I have to think about, can I even continue to have my home in Wisconsin, which I really love my house there. And I love my neighbors. I've got like the greatest neighbors you could ever want. So they're all such good people. But I guess a couple of questions I had, and I think I brought this up last time, and I just don't remember ever hearing back a response to some of these questions. But one is, maybe this isn't the proper word to use, maybe there's a better word, but I feel like, are we subsidizing some of the other people in Port Edwards with the taxes? So my taxes, I'll just speak for myself, my taxes doubled. So what happened to everybody else in Port Edwards? Now, I know my neighbors, they had the same experience as me, so I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about other people that are in Port Edwards. Excuse me. Did they have the same increase in their taxes, the property taxes? Did they also double along with what happened over to my neighborhood? If not, then I have to use the word subsidize because I don't know another word to use. I'm just kind of wondering what's going on, and I don't have access to the documents that y'all are looking at. I don't know if there's somewhere to grab them on the website. I was going to ask you that when I logged in. Is there any reference documents for me to look at while I'm listening along? But that's one of my bigger concerns. When we moved over to Port Edwards from Saratoga, the only thing that seems to be picked up is the garbage pickup, which I appreciate them doing. I appreciate them doing the yard waste. I think that's the main change. And trust me, I do appreciate that. But for doubling my property taxes, I guess I'm just kind of wondering, what more am I getting? Y'all don't do anything about the roads. Excuse me. And now we're having some problems with our roads. And I know last time I brought that up, y'all kind of told me that's not a topic to be discussed at these meetings. I don't know. I just have some concerns about the taxes going up and not really understanding why they're going up or what I'm getting for it. And I think I don't think Larry is here tonight. I think he had to travel. But I think Larry brought up some really, really good points last time. He brought up some excellent points. And I just wonder, with everything that he brought up, and I think he sent y'all an email, did anybody ever respond to his concerns? Because really, his concerns were echoed by the rest of us from our community.
Okay. Thank you, Teresa. That was a little bit more than 3 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
No worries.
Thank you.
We also have John on.
John, did you want to speak on the budget?
You're muted.
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to add was I've only been involved with budgets on the corporate level, and I know those are always a fight. And in my mind, I don't think we did a lot of fighting on budgets. And I think when you listen to Teresa and some of the frustrations we have is the money well spent, and is it being well distributed, and what's needed? So really, that's all I had to say.
Okay. Thank you.
Madam, you're here, if I add.
Sure.
Teresa, you brought up some good points, and obviously we can, if you want to bring those up more in the committee level, we could, in next budget, our budget meetings or, FHR meetings. I know some of the questions that you did ask, I believe, if you'd like to call me, we could talk about some of them. And I could give you the information that I have so that you'd have that information. So when you come to talk to the committee, you have the some of the information on agreements and things like that, how we got to this point between why the taxes and things did change, because there's some information I can give to you that that's public that you can have to maybe help answer some of your questions. So please reach out to me and I can get you that information. That's all I have.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sorry, I was
so-
muted. Thank you.
Yep.
So with that, I will close the public hearing, and without objection, I will adjourn the budget hearing piece of our meeting at 7:10 tonight. And then at 7:10, I will also call to order to the normal village board meeting. And I will ask Diane to do the roll call.
Okay, trustee Fluger,
Present.
trustee Hep,
Present.
trustee Hummel,
President.
trustee O'Connor,
Excused.
trustee Radke,
Here.
trustee Zerflu.
Present.
Okay, we will stand for our pledge of allegiance with a moment of silence afterwards. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go to number 4, motion to approve the consent agenda, which is the meeting minutes of November 12th. Board meeting and monthly bills and previous month's journal entries.
Please, the chair, so move. Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion or anything that you want to be pulled out for additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That one carries. And then public comment, I guess, is there any more public comment for tonight? It's just this same two, so. Under president's report, I really have nothing besides, I think Diane and Ben and all of our staff are working on this budget to get it together for us and looking at different avenues on how to make this budget work and working with other department heads as well. So thank you very much for that. Well, going into commission and committee reports, the airport commission, trustee Zerflu.
Well, you have the minutes from our November 13th meeting, we held the day after our November board meeting. Pretty much self-explanatory. The only thing that's still ongoing and not contentious yet is the obstruction removal will really be kicking into gear in the springtime. You know, not a lot of trees, but appropriate trees along South Third Street, and you guys are lucky you live down in the house down there. That's about it. We were supposed to meet tomorrow, but lack of agenda stuff, which is typical for this time of year, we will not be meeting, so I will not have to wait another 30 days or whatever for my stipend for that. It's big money.
Big money, yeah.
All right, I've taken enough time, but otherwise, once again, I just encourage you to come over to one of our meetings. It's always usually the first Thursday of the month. And at 8 a.m. Coffee is good.
Thank you. Police and Fire Commission, I didn't get anything. Did you get anything?
No.
Okay. Plan Commission, there was nothing for that either, so we will go to Public Works Committee.
Once again, last month, we were at our meeting, the only thing that the committee motion forward to the board we'll be bringing up under Ben's part of the agenda is the dirty water, clean water budgets for 2026. And then we'll explain a little bit more of the state. And the Public Service Commission, so. Any questions?
Nope.
That's all I have. Ben, you want to add anything at this time?
No, we have those motions underneath the Public Works, if you'd like me to talk about those. Would you like to talk about those motions?
So let's do a motion in a second so we can talk about those. So under that motion, A, to approve the 2026 water utility budget, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Fluger,
Second.
second by Radke. Now discussion.
So yes, Trustee Zerf was correct. The water utility is run by the PSC. The village has no control of raising that, utility. Basically every May, we'll send over the information to the PSC to see how our water utility budget is working. And they let us know if we need increases or decreases. Otherwise, other than that, the budget that's forward to you has all the improvements that we need to make with the water system and, move forward with another year. We've had a good, successful long run of a lot of good water and, we expect to keep it that way. And, we have great operators that do a good job and go forward with that this next year.
Okay, any questions or discussion over Brett?
Does this include you added a new relief wastewater operator? Does that come in here or is that in a separate budget?
His salaries are included in this budget and he works at the water
Yeah.
department, correct?
Sounds good.
Anything else for the water utility budget? Hearing none. The motion was made by Fluger, second by Radke. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That one carries. Okay, so B, motion to approve the 2026 wastewater budget. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Moved by Fluger,
Second.
second by Radke. Very excited.
The wastewater budget is controlled by the village. Last year, we did have an increase in wastewater rates. This year, we seem to be working quite well within the numbers we need to be moving forward with doing some maintenance. So this will be the 2026 wastewater utility budget presented to you.
Okay, any questions for wastewater utility? No? Okay, once again, motion made by Fluger, second by Radke. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That one carries as well. Anything else on Public Works? Trustee Radke? Or Trustee Zerflu, sorry. I was looking at you. All right, and we are canceling the December meeting, correct?
Yeah, no meeting on December 17th. It will be, January 7th. Time will be dependent on when we get MSA people up here. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. All right, Parks and Recreation Committee, Trustee Hummel.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. The committee did not meet last month. Just to refresh your memory, the Christmas lighting and tree lighting and so forth is going to happen this Sunday. I can't remember the time exactly.
3:30 to 5.
3:30 to 5. Since we didn't meet, there are no new items to bring up to report on. Next meeting is to be determined based on activity that needs to be addressed.
Thank you. Public Safety Committee, Trustee Fluger.
We met. Pardon me, don't have the name here. You have the date, Rick?
November 19th.
Sounds all right.
Yes.
Pretty standard meeting. We got updates from the chief, still discussion about, budgets. Budgets were pretty standard. Some discussion about replacing a squad and future planning for several years down the line, replacing one piece of fire apparatus. Other than that, pretty status quo. Our next meeting will be scheduled on January 28th. We will be canceling our December meeting due to, as Trustee Zerflu said, lack of discussion items at time of year. Otherwise, all the details are in your report. Any questions?
Is your
4:30.
4:30?
Any questions for Public Safety? No. Thank you. All right, Trustee Hess, Planning, Legislative and Property
The
Committee.
Planning, Property and Legislative Committee met on November 19th at 5 o'clock. We did have some discussion on really no discussion, but no progress on DMI. They haven't heard anything about the proposals for the demolition that was sent to them. We did go through village ordinance number 3. You have that in your packet. We moved it out of committee to the board. We'd like to ask a motion to approve it. All the change that we can discuss it once I get a motion.
Okay, is there a motion to approve ordinance number 3, finance and taxation?
We'll move.
Moved by Zerflu, is there a
I'll
second?
second.
Second by Fluger. Trustee Hess, can you just explain what changed?
Discussion, everything in blue, and if you go through it, there 3.01, number 2. The third line, the end of the third line, that should be state statute 7409.5. The page 3-2, 3.04, number 5. Changes to budget, the posting on them, we corrected it to what we currently do. It's 15 days by state statute. And post a notice of change to the municipality's website within 15 days after change is made. So that's just standard according to state statute. And then 3.09, the correct state statute is 66.0603 1MA. So those are just the only corrections.
Any questions for trustee Hess on that? Hearing none, all those in favor to approve ordinance number 3 signify by saying aye.
Okay.
Opposed? Carries as well.
Our next meeting is scheduled for 1/28/26 at 5 PM.
Thank you. And now we are on to FHR trustee Radke.
We did not meet this month because of course, the budget hearing this evening. Later, you'll see a motion to approve the bills, so that will be coming under the clerk treasurer's report. I just want to thank the clerk, Diane and Ben, for compiling the budget and a very balanced budget. Also, our next meeting will be January 8th. No, 8th.
Oh, yeah, so
That's Thursday at 4 o'clock.
I even have it written down and all right. Thank you. Any unfinished business from previous meetings? No, new business? All right. Number 10, report from village administrator. I've been,
So the first one I'll be looking for is a motion to pass the budget that was given to you guys in the public hearing. Again, again, over and over this, thanks to Diane, especially. She's put a lot of time making sure numbers, moving things around, right? This puzzle piece moves daily or whatever. We thought, we talked about it last year. Give me ideas how you want to run the budget process this year. We started with budget meetings early. And had communication, had 2 of those. Please let me know, not so much tonight, if you want to see a different process for next year so I can make notes. So we can make sure that everybody has the information that they want and voice their opinion and everything that needs to be done to create the village budget. Since we're all worked together to create this. So again, thanks for the board members. You guys came extra meetings the last 2 months to help organize this and work with the department heads in the committee meetings. Talked about this, so I think a lot of people put a lot of time and effort into this. I mean, as we all know, things get difficult every year to be putting these together. We talk about it over and over. It's the same expenses that we're dealing with over year after year. And I think we've done a great job and proud of the staff for the work they do to put these budgets in place and keep Port Edwards moving in a strong path forward.
I'll make the motion.
motion by Radke to approve the 2026 village budget and set the levy as recommended.
I'll second.
Gary, second by Hess. Any discussion on the motion?
Yes, I would like to discuss a couple of things. First of all, just to remind you that the ordinance we just passed, includes in section 304, the budget, item 3, that following the public hearing, the proposed appropriation resolution may be changed or amended and shall take the same course as other ordinances. And with having said that, I want to propose 3 amendments to the budget. If you recall, I mentioned I alerted the village president, the FHR chair, and the village administrator after the meeting of the whole on November 5th regarding motions for changes that I wanted to propose in the budget. And that followed the reaction and the concern mentioned by 5 citizens that showed up and shared their point of view at the meeting. And from that meeting, then I have 3 proposed amendments that I'd like to make.
Okay.
The first one is I would like to move that have a motion to remove from the general budget wastewater expenses, loan payments, and equipment replacement funds, and place those costs as a special assessment to properties that incur water meter changes.
Okay, so you made a motion to remove, I'm sorry, can you say wastewater, from the wastewater budget, what were the?
Wastewater expenses, loan payments, and equipment replacement funds, and place those costs as special assessments to the properties that incur water meter charges.
That's all, if I may, Madam President, that's all under the wastewater?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So there's a motion. Is there a second? I will ask again, is there a second to the motion that trustee Hummel made?
Can the public second it?
No, you cannot. Okay, without a second, then that motion dies and then we go revert back to the original motion, but you said you have
I
other,
have 2 other motions.
Okay.
Second motion is to provide $45,000 to support the maintenance and enhancement of Nepco Lake recreation and water quality.
sorry, I'm trying to just write it all down too. Okay, there's a motion to remove $45,000 for the maintenance and, of Nepco Lake, for water quality. Is there,
Recreation. I
in
have it at
recreation?
47.
Okay.
So you can have that.
Thank you. Is there a second to that motion? Asking again, is there a second to trustee Hummel's motion for the $45,000? Okay, with no second, that one also is reverted back to the original motion.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to make a amended motion to reimburse Nepco Lake property owners who are charged fees for road snow removal.
So there's a motion to reimburse NEPCO property owners for snow removal. Is there a second for that motion? Okay, I'll ask one more time. Is there a second to trustee Hummel's amended motion? Okay, without a second, then we revert back to the original motion to, where did I put it now?
Thank you, Madam President.
2026 budget. Okay, any other discussion on the village budget?
One other question I have. I noticed that there's about a $90,000 carryover from 2025. The assumption then is that about $100,000 of the category of unused expenses was added or was needed this year. Is that correct?
Okay, $90,000 carryover,
Yes, correct.
that's what you're asking for?
No, what I said was that's what it says here, that there's an estimated $90,000 carryover.
Okay.
Out of and so I'm assuming then that the $200,000 that are put aside for What's the property in it?
We're looking for, yeah, I mean, it's on a side to different, again, that 200 before the budget starts, that's just not in it. That's to make sure that we stay within budget terms, right? We don't have the right tech terminology, right? That comes from Mr. Troutman, our village auditor, how we put that in there. I know there's, last year we had a lot of discrepancy on what it's called. That's not a budget item that is put in the actual budget itself. And obviously at the end of the year right now, we're estimating that we're gonna have $90,000 left over when the year is done. In the checkbook or whatever you wanna say, in checking to keep paying bills. So that 200, it's put in there as a line item. It's not really classified for anything. It's to make sure that we stay within budget terms. And I can do some more investigation when the auditor comes this year to get you guys a better definition of how that money is. If we have questions moving forward, how we actually want to label that 200,000.
Where are you talking about on this sheet?
It's this, yes.
Yeah.
We talked about it last year. We call it unassigned funds. It's a 200,000 that we start with in the checkbook every,
Okay.
that we put in there to make sure, because our budget is built on estimates, right? I mean, this budget system of every department head spend right to the zero, we would run basically bankrupt, right? So we have to have money. I mean, there's bills that keep coming in all the way until March from 2025 this year. So that's where, we have that extra gap cushion, we call it, however you want to call it. Again, I know we haven't struggled with terminology, and maybe we got Mr. Troutman come to an FHR meeting. I guess if there's concerns on how that's labeled. But again, that money's not even talked about. It's basically put aside to make sure that we stay within budget terms every year.
Trustee Zerflu,
Madam President, did you say that's not in the budget?
It's in there right away, but it's not, it's the first thing you look at the budget says on the side, and 200,000 is what we call it, right? And that's in there right away. That's before we start moving, spending department heads and things like that. That's the first thing that we take out. So. Been past practices. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's how we do to make sure we stay within budget. I mean, it's
It's been like that for years.
years.
You're talking about that right there.
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
Can I say, it's not actually money that's figured in there. It's to allow flexibility in the budget. Joe, when you were president, John Troutman talked to us about that, and, because we use our estimated cash carryover in our budget, we'd go bankrupt, like Ben said, if everybody spent.
Remember John saying,
So that's kind of put in there to help prevent that and for flexibility. Cause the budget is not an exact thing, it's a
I
guide.
was just wrong. I didn't hear him, but I thought Benny said it's not a budget item, so to speak.
I would like to follow up with Ben's suggestion. I would like to have the HFR have that discussion about what the process is to use that, how those decisions are made, how that gets informed to the board. I became only aware of it when I looked at this at the end of the year. So I wasn't aware we were dipping into that amount during the year, and we obviously need money at the start of the year because we don't have money coming in for a while. So
Right.
I just think that process needs to be.
We can do that and have Mr. Troutman. I was aware of it, and
yeah,
I didn't know how,
I think
a
we
buffer or what they would call it, but we can do that.
Yeah.
We definitely can do that. Oh,
I was gonna say, actually, I think it should be the whole board
Yeah.
or during the
Great.
whatever,
Perfect.
I'd like to
That would be even
understand.
better.
the big meeting. I can't think of right now.
That would be
Trustees
even
are,
better.
Thank you, Madam President. It's been a while since we've done that. I think we should get Mr. Troutman or his designee down here from the firm to explain it.
yeah,
And I can guarantee after John gets done, that you'll understand totally.
yeah, it's been, it's,
I think I understand. I don't think the process is really clear about how the board gets informed when it's
He
being
will
used.
be able to explain it. Seriously.
yeah. So I'll do that. I'll make a note, to
You're
make
gonna-
sure that he brings in either to a board meeting or even the strategic planning meeting.
okay.
Yeah, so. Okay, anything else? Any other questions on the motion that's out there, the village budget? Okay. Motion was made by Radke, second by Hess, to approve the 2026 village budget and set the levy as recommended at the public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed?
Nay,
Yeah.
Madam President, I'd like to have a roll call vote on that motion, please.
We can do that.
Trustee Fluger,
Aye.
trustee Hess,
Aye.
trustee Hummel,
Nay.
trustee Radke,
Aye.
trustee Zerflu,
Aye.
President Mansell.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay,
Madam President,
yes, sir.
getting back to, Mr. Feldman, I think that's, could be a training session for the whole board.
Yep.
Not just the committee.
Yep. Yeah, I was gonna do that on actual board. Yep. Okay, B, motion to approve the labor policies and fee schedule dated December 3rd, 2025, effective January 1, 2026. Do I have a motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Radke,
I'll second.
second by Fluger. Discussion on that.
This is just approving the 3% increase, and that's in the labor policies for the employees and the benefit package
And this
For
reflects
2000.
the benefit increase.
Yep. is 2026.
That's not in here.
No, that's not it. So we had the last board meeting, you guys. heard.
Any discussion or comments on that? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That one carries. Okay, anything else? Ben?
Nope, that's all I got.
Okay, we'll move on to number 11, report from clerk treasurer.
I'd like to ask for a motion to authorize the clerk to pay all routine bills that come in through December.
Aye. So move.
What we're going for.
Anderson, Zerflu made the motion,
Second.
second by,
Water.
second by Hess. Discussion on that. Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That one carries.
Okay, I'd like to ask for a motion to appoint Karen Cleo, Becky Taylor, Kathy McGrath, Karen Isaacson, and Laura Vishinsky as the primary election workers. Becky Taylor and Kathy McGrath as the special voting deputies for Edgewater. And Nina Pilo, Joan Jesse, Cheryl Stewart, James Markland, and Amanda Erdman as substitute workers for the 2026-2027 elections.
Please, Chair, so move because I know all those ladies.
Motion by Zerflu,
Second.
second by Radke. Any discussion on that one? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That one carries.
I abstained.
Oh, you abstain?
Well, my sister.
Ah, abstain. Yes, got it. Got it. Okay. Anything else from you, Diane?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. And moving on to number 12, trustee comments. Trustee Radke.
I guess first of all, again, I think we worked hard on the budget. That we can discuss, some other processes. I would like to thank the committee, the community members that spoke here at the budget meeting tonight. I did hear their views and their opinions. Hopefully we can clear that up by contacting Ben or myself. I think that can be more discussion on these matters, and hopefully we can resolve some of the issues with their questions and be able to answer them. That's all I have.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes, I'd like to comment. I believe that the people of Netco Lake need a response from the committee about why we chose to ignore any disparity between the taxes and services. The last thing that we've been told is that there isn't any money. That doesn't wash. There is money. It's how we prioritize money. But I do think they deserve that. I'm a little disappointed we didn't get a second on any of those, just to simply have a discussion about any of those amendments. It speaks to me and makes me wonder, are we really interested at all in addressing any of those concerns? I'm not asking that it be approved, but it makes me wonder that we can so quickly pass over all of this without any response. That's worrisome to me. So thank you, though. But I appreciate the opportunity to at least offer the amendments.
Thank you. Anybody else? Trustee Zirkle?
Since he's sitting down, you won't fall off his chair, I hope, but agreeing with Eric. I think what he just stated about further discussion. Reason I voted as I did approving the budget is because everything was completed. Doesn't mean that we don't have time to talk about these and make some changes in 2026. The wastewater assessment and the loan payment and the equipment, I think it was that you mentioned, I think that would be basically, my committee fixes their pipes when they break, but we don't go any further than that. So, but I think that's something that could be brought up with Lon's FHR committee. The $45,000 request for Nepco Lake water quality. I would get that on my budget if I was you for Parks and Recreation, because I feel personally that that's something that can be done. The thing I would like to bring up to my committee is the road payments for snow removal. Because we do road work. You know, I mean, that's kind of thing, and I would like to discuss that, I really would. Not that it would go any further than that, but I think maybe there's some wiggle room there. But that's just my personal feelings, and there's two other people on the committee that might tell me to go pound sand.
Yeah.
But that's the way I feel. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zirkle.
I do have one comment. I do appreciate you bringing up those motions. Personally, I think it's late in the game with the budget being approved already, and we've got to get the tax bills out before the end of the year.
Yeah.
So I agree with what Trustee Zirkle said. We're gonna have these discussions. We need to take them through committee and bring them up earlier in the budget making process. There needs to be fair and equitable distribution of the taxes with all other people involved, like the wastewater people. There are other people that don't have wastewater or don't have water too. So
Precisely.
we've got to have, but you start those, personally, I think we should start those discussions earlier, like Trustee Zirkle said.
I just didn't see a forum to have those discussions this year. I brought up twice some concern about how the board sees the value of it, and again, silence. So that's great. Let's find a way to do that. I will say this, sometimes always putting stuff in committee actually doesn't promote the kind of discussion that's needed on some of these issues. And that's my opinion.
I will leave it up to the president and the past president. I think most of those have to start in committee.
They do not have to start in the committee.
I'd leave it up
Neither
to that.
Robert's Rules of Order or our ordinances require that motions or recommendations need to start in committee. There's nothing in our ordinance that says that. That happens to be the way we've run things, but that doesn't require, it's not required to do it that way. The county board takes on motions without it going to committee from time to time with disgruntled people, I'm told. So, we overreact to sending stuff to committee and requiring motions to come out of it. Ours doesn't say anything about requiring motions. It says that we're supposed to recommend action, but it doesn't say motions. And I actually think that having motions sometimes could inhibit the kind of discussions that we need.
And at that point, if I may, Madam Chair, at that point is where the individual trustee can get something put on the agenda for the board meeting.
Yes, thank you.
And I agree, whatever the formal process is that we need to follow, then I think we just need to start earlier. That's my perspective.
I think they need to be invited to have those discussions in some format. I don't think the process we have right now invites much of that. But anyway, we'll work on that next year.
Okay. Trustee Fluger?
And I know there's been a lot of discussion about, services and bang for the buck and everything. We've got amazing services in the village. We've got amazing parks and amazing people and amazing venues. I would encourage everyone to take advantage of those. It might be a slightly longer drive, for some people than others. We pay tax money to Midstate. I would encourage people to they have adult enrichment classes at Midstate. So, when it comes down to it, you know, we've got, some are a little harder to access for some people, but they're there and they're available, and as village residents, we all have access to them. And I just encourage everyone to utilize the walking trails and the parks and the things of that nature that we're actually paying into.
Thank you. Okay, where are we? That was for so number 13, committee meeting calendars. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of these. Public Works will have no meeting in December, but January 7th with a time to be determined because of MSA.
Marty will set the time when he hears from, MSA.
Got it. Parks and Rec to be determined.
Yes.
Public Safety, January 28th at 4:30.
Correct.
PLP, January 28th at 5. Correct?
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
FHR, the January 8th at 4 o'clock.
Correct.
Okay. I got 'em. With nothing else and no objection, I will adjourn the meeting at 7:46.